Yeah, I run my motherfucking city. 95, stand the fuck up. See, I got it. I'm a money hungry, go get a nigga. Professional, paper maker, pussy soaking wet. You better actually grab. I'm a hard and a soft white.
I say, wow, what's happening? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of manPower. And I'm your host, Dr. Sausage. And this episode is entitled, Do You Really Care? Now, understand when I'm asking these questions directly to men. This is a show for men, about men issues. And we really don't give a fuck what the woman think, how the woman feel, none of that kind of thing. Because this is a place for us to come together and discuss our issues, all right, and be able to get our shit together. And honestly speak about it without nobody worried about if some woman paying attention or some woman is involved. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. So the reason I asked the question, do you really care, is because I know that men, fundamentally, we don't have an understanding for this is our baby. Because society has gone beyond any reasonable measure to try and drive home the fact that the child belongs to the mother, to the woman. Now, we know that goes directly against what the Father Jehovah's wishes are. So we understand that we have two choices. We can follow Jehovah's law or we can follow man's law. You make the choice. This show is for men who want to follow Jehovah's law. This show is for men who want to put this world back in the right order that it's supposed to be. What am I talking about? I'm talking about men coming together and forming a union so that we can stand up for fathers' rights. The first right of fatherhood. What does that mean? That means when a man and a woman separate, the male child automatically goes with the father. And the female child in some cases. All medical knowledge, all reputable medical institutions, medical bodies of study, all reputable mental institutions, mental bodies of study have all concurred and continue to reiterate the point that if you give the child to the mother, that child is going to have mental problems. Okay? You're going to demasculate the males. If you give the child to the father, that child will grow up like it was raised in a dual parent household with the mother and the father. The reason this is not a fight between men and women is because the women are not the ones who put us in this predicament. All right? It's the men in government who have put us in this predicament. All right? And when I say government, I don't mean the figureheads that we feel like we elected and put into office. I'm talking about titans of industry, owners of large business who actually pay money to influence the politicians to pass the rules that we then have to live under. And these people, number one motivation, is cheap labor. Don't ever get deceived and look away from that fact. This country was built on free labor, and this country can only thrive on cheap labor. Why do you think big business take companies like what Nike did and go overseas where all of their bottom line costs fall through the floor so that their profits can run through the sky? Okay? This isn't about humanity. This is about them having slave labor. And they figured out a way to drive a wedge in between the man and the woman in this country and quietly hide their hands while they're doing it in the name of help, in the name of what? Family services, okay? In the name of what? Making sure of nutrition. They use these divisive terms so that they can give to one parent, all right, and then be able to turn around and ridicule and obfuscate the other parent. And it goes both ways. When it's the father who's in charge of the child, they want the father to be weak enough to go after the mother for child support. When in actuality, if the parent need help, the government who the parent paying tax to should be able to help that parent without persecuting the other one. Because we are a family-orientated country. Now, you have to understand what the motivation is for our government to openly go against the Father Jehovah's Witness, Jehovah's wishes. Okay? Because he intended for the man to be the head of the household. And our government is trying to make the woman the head of the household, and they have come up with all of these phony institutions to prop it up. All of these institutions do what a man would do as the head of his family. So they create the problem by promoting single motherhood, and then once the problem surfaces, they're the ones who seem like they're coming up with the answer, when it should have never been a problem from the beginning, because the children belong to the men. Social services programs are not for men. They are for widows and orphans. If that child has a father, a working father, that child should not be on social services. It does not matter that his father is poor. That just means he's a poor child. What you call poor, other people call rich. To me, if all of my bills is paid, I have food, okay, the water hot, the AC cold, my children, my family is okay, I'm rich. It does not, for me, the order of being rich does not fall under how much money I have in the white man's bank. Excuse me. For me, being rich is about understanding that my next generation is going to do better than I did. And the way I'm doing that is at every stage, I'm working with them hands-on to make sure that that stage was better than my stage. Okay? My sons knew how to read before they went to the first grade. My sons understood how to do mathematics, okay, before they went to the first grade. My sons went straight to college from high school. These are all one step greater than what I did with hands-on. In my older years here at 52, I'm not worried about money or all those type of things. The thing that give me joy and give me happiness is being able to look back and say, damn, man, job well done. Bruh, you did that. And that's what I want for all men. Let me tell you something. If men are raising the boys, we have a strong culture. We just don't have an openly violent culture, because men don't teach boys to be violent. Men teach boys you don't start no trouble, you understand me? But if somebody put their hands on you, you show them not to put their hands on nobody else. Because we understand that being a man doesn't come from how well you can do this or damage another person. We understand that being a man is about being able to take care of the ones that's up underneath you and take care of them like you would take care of yourself. Okay? The government don't want that, because they want to shape and mold our young people. They want to direct the morality of our society. They don't want fathers in homes raising strong, confident people, strong-willed people who are not easily manipulated. Okay? The government understands that too many of these fathers would start businesses with their sons, okay, and create generational wealth, which wouldn't leave such a robust industry for cheap, low labor. Okay, and so that's the government's motivation to block that from happening. And men, we have to recognize that this is what their motivation is and how they are crippling us. Okay, and the institutions that they have put up in place to strike fear in us to prevent us from railing against this. And then we have to grab ourselves up by the bootstraps and say that we will, you know what I'm saying, go into the fray one more time. All right. And then for real, we have to come together. We have to establish a boycott. Okay. We have to establish the days when we say that's it. As men, we sitting still in this country. We're not doing anything. We're not flying the planes. We're not flying, moving the trains. We're not clearing out the sewer lines. We're not in the pulpit. We're not doing anything. You understand me? We are boycotting a system that does not value us. We are setting down and folding our arms, okay, all over this great nation. If you saying that we have to go and enter into the draft, fight and die so that this nation can prevail, then you will not, with that same tongue, tell us that we don't have first right of fatherhood to have our sons and raise our sons. And let me tell you what it would do. If men were raising their sons, okay, morality would be a good thing in this country. Because men, we don't want women with makeup and fake hair and all that kind of stuff. See, all these industries that they can promote and keep held up with the woman being in charge and being so vocal, those things in a male-dominated society, they wouldn't be prevalent anymore, because what we want would be spoken loud enough to where the ladies would get the message. If we were raising our sons, the government wouldn't have as big a role in society as they do, because there would be no need for them. There would be no need for them. All this is the reason why we have to look at this, and we have to say, well, look at what's happening in our absence. If you're questioning whether or not men should be raising the children, men should be the head of the household, men should be in charge, you could look at it and say, well, let's look at what's happening with men being subjugated to the sideline. Our prisons are overcrowded. Our mental health system has completely collapsed and failed, and they are just rejecting to do the job because of no help. Okay? Our young people are confused as to if they're male or female, doing drugs. Our young ladies are openly saying that when they're about the age of 23 years old, some of them are saying they have a body count of 40, 50 people. Now, if a man was raising his daughter, every man to within the sound of my voice, though, your daughter wouldn't have no 40 or 50 count man body count if she was being raised by you. Because she would care. She would care that, and not to hurt her father. Society don't want to promote the strongest love of all. The strongest love of all is the love of the Father. And it is proven, because even though the system tries to marginalize us and kick us to the curb and make us only ATM machines, we still hang around and play that role. And if we didn't care, we wouldn't even hang around and play that role. This abuse is so great that the system has designed a way to abuse young boys from birth by promoting single motherhood and running the father off. And every mental institution in America will tell you he just said the truth. Okay? When a young boy grows up seeing his father in charge, seeing his father take care of everything, seeing his father is the answer for all of these things, what do you think is going to happen with him? He's going to understand what he can do, what his role is. What, you know what I'm saying? He's going to know exactly how to operate, because he's getting images, he's getting examples of what he's supposed to do, what's expected of him. When he gets a chance to see a man go out and accomplish all of these things, like I watched my father do. Okay? But when you make that absent in a young man's life, and he has no clue these things are supposed to go on, and these ladies understand that. But by them being the weaker of the two, they trapped in a system where the government has put them automatically as the parent before they ever even have some say-so. This is the world they born in. And men, we have to say, this is a cause that we'll die for. When we go to these jails, when we fill up these jails, we're not just going to go to the jails. We're going to go on a hunger strike in the jails. Okay? We're not drinking any water. We're not eating any food. If you lock us up in jail, we're not just going to fill up your jails, but we're going to reject any type of nourishment. We're going to show you that this is life and we understand it and we will fight for it. Men, this is the civil rights issue of our time. And this is the rally call. This is the rally cry that we will die for our babies. You understand me? Let's stand up. Let's fight for fatherhood, for the first right of fatherhood. To all you ladies out there within the sound of my voice who want to be down with us, we need you. If you've taken the choice to try to be the independent chick and raise your children by yourself, and so now you done stood over your baby's dead body, and you understand, being honest, that, whoa, I should have given this boy to his father. If you the grandmother who played that role and got generations of people that's just languishing and not doing nothing, and knowing that had you to let those children's father play a role in their life, your grandchildren wouldn't be in the peril that they're in right now, and your children wouldn't be in the situation they're in right now. We need you. We need all of the true stories out there to come forward. This is not about making you look bad. This is about saying, I wish I could do it again because I know better now. Okay? It matters. I'm doing this not because I didn't get to raise my sons. I'm doing this because I want everyone to benefit like I have. And if I am fighting this mistake that's going on and I benefited by being able to raise my sons, if you did it wrong, you should be trying to join forces to help stop this from happening. You should care just as much as I care. All right, look. Men are the people who save money, who make plans. All right? Now, it used to be you saving up money for their college. Now, women, you know, women, they're going to spend money. They don't save money. Okay, not all women, but a good portion of women, they just spend money. They don't save money. All right? Men are the ones who plan and start saving money for their children's college. And that's wonderful. Men are the ones who develop a trade or a business or something to have to do father and son business. You don't see no such thing as mother and son business. It's father and son, traditionally. Okay? You cannot argue against the word. And there is no greater love than that the father had for the son. And there is no greater love than that the son had for the father. The father made the sacrifice to give his only begotten son, who had done nothing wrong, but went to die for the sins of people who had done something wrong. And the son loved his father so much that he was willing to accept that mission and go and die and get himself killed for something he didn't even do, to sacrifice for his father. The world knows this. That's why they don't want father and son together. Child support know it. Family court know it. The attorney general knows it. The governor knows it. The mayor knows it. The federal government knows it. That's why they have all gotten in cahoots. The minister at your church knows it. Why do you think he keep his mouth shut? They all in cahoots because they need the weaker people to be in charge so they can have social classes, so they can have social places, so they can keep their penitentiaries full, so they can keep these funerals going, so they can keep us being the villain and the violent person in Hollywood, or whatever the new thing is that's going to be the new low bottom barrel of the bucket for society that they're going to give to black people. We have to understand that this is deliberate. Now look, this is one of the richest countries in the world. Men, when we have our children, we pursue wealth. We pursue success. Okay? We don't pay attention to racism, and all that distraction bull jive. But this is something that they can feed through the female, okay? Because it's emotional and it's a distraction. It's a fear tactic. Fear could not prevail if the father was in charge. Listen, men, we want to create a world for the women and children to be safe and secure. But the women, they want to create a world where they got theirs and ain't nobody good enough for them. They're not sharing. A man will go out and he will make $80,000 in a year. And at the end of the year, he'll have $6,000, $7,000 in the bank. But he'll be to took care of his family all year long. And that's what he make that for. That's why men ought to be in charge, because we built up a world for the women and children. Women wouldn't have built up a world for the men and children. They wouldn't have. And if they would have built up this world, believe me, they wouldn't be sharing it with men. The government understands the different thought process in the two of us. And so they are manipulating behind the scene. And this is why as men we have to come together. We have to get all of the states together. And then we have to do a national boycott. We have to fight for fathers' rights. We have to fight and say that when a man and a woman separate, the male child automatically goes with the father. And we have to put that in print and make it be the law and make it be uninfringible. I don't care if we have to make it an amendment to the Constitution that fatherhood is a right for men, okay? And it will not be infringed upon. That's how serious we have to be about this issue. Because it is our God-given right to be fathers. And the state or no one has the right to regulate that. They can't tell us when and where we can see our children. They can't tell us how much we have to provide to take care of our children. They have no vested interest in us and our personal business with our children and how we raise them. The reason the state is in this is because they have ulterior motive. They want to steal them from us. That's why first they steal them from us and give them to the woman. And it's been going on so long until men not even hurt anymore. We have to wake up before we are permanently asleep and the right of fatherhood is completely stolen from us. Okay? How can we have a society that we built, but we're not good enough to raise the children in it? That is lunacy on its face. I submit to you that a father and son is a lifelong bond. All right? There is no greater love than the father has for his son. The government know it, and they go out of their way to try and destroy it. They have worked so hard to destroy it. I was listening to a young man speak on the YouTube, and he made the statement that they had to take that woman's child from her, or that man took that woman's child from her. But for the simple fact that he was dispossessed completely of the knowledge that the child came from him. Because the same way they tricked him and made him believe in Santa Claus, the same way they tricked him and made him believe in white Jesus, is the same way they tricking him and making him believe that his child is not his. And we have to stand up and fight against the true enemy, the state and the federal government. We have to boycott. Without us, the state and the federal government, they are nothing. Look, my closing statement is this. The government, period, understands that a human being is going to live much longer than 18 years. And they understand that this is a very difficult thing to do, to get someone up to 18 years. And they have found themselves in a situation where they can manipulate and take advantage of. And so they have. And they have created institutions that are for one and to go against the other. Okay, that's crippling us. It has crippled us as a nation. It has crippled us in the black culture. Your babies are the only thing worth standing up, fighting, and dying for. And I'm trying to get every man within the sound of my voice to start trying to organize, to start trying to say, hey, when are we going to do this boycott? To start trying to call meetings. You know, I'm just one man. But pretty soon, it can be 2, then 3, and 4, and much more. This is the civil rights issue of our time. This is the great injustice that's happening uniformly to men. We have been stripped of our right of fatherhood, and it is automatically understood that the children belong to the ladies. And we know that is not so. But that's the message our government has put forth. And now they have made it the law of the land. So this is an issue that's going to require more than just me talking and sweating. It's going to require some blood. It's going to require some walking. It's going to require some beating on tables, some beating on doors, some boycotting. All right? This is the civil rights issue of our time. And if we don't get control of our children, we don't have a nation. So if you've been listening this long, I want to say thank you, because there is no greater issue, no more pressing issue going on in America today than the government creating absent fatherhood, absent fatherteism. Okay? And we can come together and erase this lie that they have on us. My Cash App is $ capital GILL, capital MUSE. Okay, I'm trying not to make these too long because I know people's attention span is short, and I know that they can't listen, past good 25 minutes. Please, let's boycott. Let's come together. Let's fight for the right to be fathers, because we have abdicated the throne and we have given our right up. And this is a God-given right, the right of fatherhood. So until next time, this has been Dr. Sausage saying thank you, and please join the fight. I'm going to turn you over to 985 Dreezy, and the title of this song is Laughing My Ass Off. Peace.
I'm a money hungry, go get a nigga, professional.